Proper story is supposed to start at the beginning. Ain't so simple with this one. Now here's a kid whose whole world got all twisted, leaving him stranded on a rock in the sky. He gets up, sets off for the Bastion, where everyone agreed to go in case of trouble. Ground forms up under his feet as if pointing the way. He don't stop to wonder why. Finds his lifelong friend just lying in the road. Well, it's a touching reunion. He sees what's left of the rippling walls, years of work undone in an instant, in the calamity. That a survivor? No, ma'am. It's a gas fella, forced out from underground. Kid pops him good. An old repeater falls out of the sky. Ain't a gift from the gods, but it'll have to do. Gotta hold her still to spin up the chamber. Kid's worked up quite a thirst by now, so that fountain looks real inviting. Sometimes you just need a drink. A school of squirts tunnels up around him. Must have fled here from the mines. Kid finds a memento from a girl he knew. Always used to fancy her.
All right.
He sets foot inside one of Celandia's famous watering holes. Inside's old Rondi, the bartender. The calamity got him before his drinking did. Then Kid finds his trusty shield. But just as he's getting a handle on it, the security takes him for a petty thief. Special delivery, gas fellas. Windbags start turning up for last call. More squirts start coming out of the woodwork. Rondi always wanted his ashes scattered here. big old fella pops out in front of the kid. Kid sees the way to the Bastion out the window. It's a bit of a drop. He gets a good look at things on his way down. He lands on top of a breaker's bow, and it ain't broke. Kid spies a good perch for some target practice. He knows he should draw the string all the way back. The kid pockets a memento from a breaker, once the fastest man in the land. Good news is the emergency defenses still work. Bad news is they're aiming for the kid. Picks up a few pointers from a dusty old tome. He finds the distillery, right next to the arsenal. Tough part of town. One sip of the spirits in that distillery, and the kid'll feel like a new man. The arsenal's where the kid can pick the best tools for the job. Some of them squirts birthing like crazy in a couple of corn bins. And then he falls to his death. I'm just fooling. He's a mighty fast learner. ferry barge sends the kid on his way. The Bastion's real close now. Kid takes a chunk of alloy. Smell of barley and spoiled blueberries fills the air. Scumbags. Kid maybe shouldn't have done what he just did. Robs a scumbag of his last meal. Kid puts him out of his misery. He finds the core to the Wharf District. He steals the city's heart. Might as well. Kid has a feeling he better get a move on. The place is starting to fall. See, that core Kid took was the only thing making this particular rock stay afloat. Kid just keeps running. Somersaulting like crazy. At last, the skyway's in sight. Whisks him where he needs to go. Now the kid sees something stranger still. His mind races. Did anybody else survive? Sure enough, he finds another. He finds me. We talk for a spell. There's a bit of the Bastion's power in that crest, enough to point the way to the cores. Just like that, the Bastion comes alive. Starts growing again, growing stronger. Kid's gotta put its power to good use. Now the Bastion can send him even farther into the wild unknown. All I tell him is to set that core of his on the monument there, then watch. I try to let the kid down gently. This is the Bastion, all right, except no one else showed up. kid ponders what to build. Makes time to sample spirits from my personal supply. Party punch is so zesty, it'll let you carry on through the worst of times. Kid don't know what's out there waiting for him. The Skyway. Now the kid can ride the wind to distant lands. Now he lands at the intersection between bad and wrong. Ought to be a core down one of these twisted streets. But which one? He heads for the squirt steps. Won't be no field trip this time. Hopes he'll never see one again. They say even the most rambunctious squirts can be tamed. No sign of the core here. At least the kid got something for his trouble. Scumbag can digest just about anything. Except for this. It's quick for slicing and light enough to throw. Them squirts just don't know when to quit. Some scumbag still feeding off the city's own trash. And there he is. The oldest scumbag of them all. Gershel. The calamity ain't done much for Gershel's sunny disposition. They always said old Gershel wouldn't go without a fight. No core, no surprise. Like the gas fellas are hiding it from him. He heads for the east side, where windbags used to keep the local forge. Somehow that old forge is still standing. Inside the forge, Key can fine-tune those instruments of his. Kid's lifelong friends looking fit to keep on fighting. With a good length of meat-gut, that bow's like new again. Core ain't here neither, so he's gotta guess again. Up north is where the gas fella foreman used to live, tending to his flock. The white gas fellas all dress alike. Kid's wondering the same thing. And there it is, but it's locked down tight in an alloy cage. A blustery old foreman's keeping his fellas in check, almost like he's showboating for the crowd. Kid ain't about to pass out in the middle of the workman ward. He hears the whole place groan, but it's too tough to fall. Kid's ready to go, and his ticket out's right where he started. He comes back, just like I knew he would. The core hums in his pack. The monument's calling for it. The windbags used to be all right. Then the calamity took the floor out from under him. Squirt cider will toughen you right up. Too bad about the musty aftertaste. Kid ain't finished here yet. Kid does it again. Only fair he decides what we build next. The Bastion's a place of peace, but we can hold our own if we have to. A repeater goes with a hammer better than a box of nails. Picked up traces of other cores while the kid was out. The breakers used to come here for target practice. Used to play a little game. See who could bust the most targets and the fewest shots. He's focused, he's armed, and he's off. Perfect shot just happens in a flash. kid ain't done bad at all. He returns with some of the materials we need.
Hello? I think I fixed it. Also, I don't know I don't know how you found my stream, Steve, but thank you for the follow.
In better days, the melting pot was sealed tighter than the skin on a squirt. Of all the plans to survive the calamity, it had to be stab weeds. If there's a core, he figures it ought to be deeper down.
What? Okay. Eyes everywhere. Something nasty. What?
It cuts down every stab weed like there's gonna be a prize for it. Core stuck inside one of those fancy cages. Some of the stuff lying around is downright dangerous. He throws a switch. Now what could possibly go wrong? Quite a bit, as it turns out. The cage starts lifting from the core ever so slow.
Why are they doing so much?
All Kid can do is wait. Shipments start falling in. Not every squirt's born bad. Some spring to the kid's defense.
Okay.
Judging by the movement of the cage, it's gonna take a little while. Scumbags don't take kindly to interlopers. Even some gas fellas take his corner. Heard he popped that mean old foreman. At this rate, maybe 5 more minutes, maybe 30. Hard to tell. Squirts get real territorial around the core. Then a shipment of free samples shows up. It ain't all bad, as the kid finds some spices from the motherland. tax-free. One thing's for sure, that cage is awful heavy. It's a troublesome scene, to be sure. Moments left, and the core goes free. 10, 9, 8, 7, you give or take a few seconds. Finally, the core's within reach. And done. He's got it. Just gotta get to the nearest barge. I still remember the look on his face after that one.
Or he's not even here. Oh, there he is.
Folks voyaged across the boundless sea to found Celandia. It was good living here for a while. The old world's finished, but the new world's just getting started. A lot of things need fixing up in this world, and we can start right here. Kid packs a special surprise in every one of those arrows. Turns out those old bones still have some spark in them.
Want to become famous? Hold on. How do I get this guy out of here? Okay.
Windbag Ranch was built for gathering squirt extract in copious supply. Ain't nothing more healthful. Some folks showed up to make a fast buck with nothing but a knife. Slippery little devils. Place gets awful slick sometimes. Other folks came to train their throwing arms.
How do I get back?
Still others use the place to test their finest blades. Kid cuts all of them down soon enough.
Please.
Kid comes back from Windbag Ranch, smelling good and ripe. Ain't always much to say. Couples used to walk the sundown path. Kid ain't here for pleasure, though. But then, somebody gets to the core before the kid. Floor starts giving way under the lightest step. A single panic squirt could bring the whole place down. Fragments of the old world rain from the sky. Stray valuables are lying everywhere. Kid thinks twice about risking his hide for them, though. Security's all fired up.
I can't.
See, the path was intended for leisurely strolling and such. Sky bridges link the path together. One of them bridges whips the kid along. Air travel always was an iffy proposition. Quick and careful's the only way to go. The calamity changed everything, even where the wind blows. Well, if we mastered the winds in the old days, we can do it again. Who else could have taken the core? Well, ain't no survivor stole the thing. Scumbag ate it by mistake. Tough break. Unlike the kid, that core ain't coming back. No, they used to ship live munitions down the path. These wires to toss those things plenty far away. Even gas fellas need some shut-eye from time to time. They get real cranky when you wake them up. In all this toil, Kid keeps coming back to an overwhelming question. Who else could have survived the calamity? So he didn't find the core that time, but that ain't about to stop us. The dead welcome him with open arms. The calamity took everybody after all. Kid sees it plain, frozen faces all around. These folks never saw the calamity coming, but someone did. Someone close. It was someone like him. Kid sees him there agape, in the flesh. Hits a snag or two trying to get to him. He ain't about to stop, no matter what. He's got so many questions after all. Just ain't got time for answers. The Thunder brothers didn't make it. They never saw what it was like beyond the walls. Nor did the bird boy. Didn't make it. The Jawsons, they didn't make it. Grady Sr., Grady Jr., they didn't make it.
They're in the way, though.
But him, he survived. Kid finds proof enough that man ain't from around here. Just think, without that man, we wouldn't be here right now, would we? The core survives as well.
Don't tell me I gotta hurt them.
And then, what do you say to a man who's seen too much?
Bro.
Kid hasn't a clue, but he says this. We have to go. please. He's a proper gentleman, that man. His name is Zolf. No hiding he's an Ura. Folks like him ain't never been a common sight in Caelondia. He's relieved to see a living face or two. The kid and I introduce ourselves in kind. Both to him and to each other, for the first time. We fought the Ura decades ago, but that was then. Things are different between us now. For Zolf, Caelondia was like a second home. He's real worried about his first home, too. Far to the east. We all lost loved ones in the calamity, he says. I don't know how I'm gonna go on without mine. He was born in the Tazzle terminals. The Ura sent him on a mission of peace to our city, and he's lived here ever since. The cores, they remember. That's why this place is coming together. That's why things are gonna be all right. Well, look what we have here. The lost and found. Here, kid takes fragments of the old world and makes them whole again. All it takes is some fragments, and the Bastion makes it good as new. The little Zolwood oil and that blade shines like a light. War machetes are so quick, you gotta keep a good grip on them. We tracked down a couple more cores near the edge of the city. No place better than Trapper Shingle for learning to tread light and shoot straight. Trappers had to tread real careful here, else take a nasty fall. They train themselves by clearing out the targets, while not clearing out the floor. Any good trapper knows never to take a step till the time is right.
Is it actually running okay?
Expert trappers got something extra to give them an edge.
Good. Is for you? Okay. Get the pack foo out of here.
Kid decides to keep working his aim and footwork on the shingle. Best time to pick a new spot was when swapping magazines. To think a rickety place like the Shingle survived, and so little else did. No use praying to the gods these days. No time for it either. Folks used to make pilgrimage here to pay their respects to Pith, the Bull, Pith Orchard. Place is a dead end in more ways than one. Well, the gods are long gone now, and the orchard core is long gone too. Pith stood for something once. Something real. In time, though, the bull stopped being a symbol and started being decoration. Pith makes a decent scarecrow, at least.
Whoa!
Then Pith lights up like a rodeo. Ain't easy punching through his hide. Kid breaks him to bits. Must have been guarding that shrine. So what'll it be? Invoke the gods? Or tell them off? Pith. Kid decides to press his luck. Well, if the gods are alive, they must be plenty sore. Kid ain't never seen windbags that quick. Maybe old Pith put a scare in him. Kid passes Pith's trial, and he's richer for it. Kid ain't found a core, but at least he found Zolf's precious shrine. Now we can build a shrine of our own, though I got some alternatives in mind. There's only one way to Cinder Brick Fort. The hard way. Sure, the city marshals may be gone, but now the fort's crawling with windbags. The calamity was mercy for normal folks. The windbags ain't so lucky. They've been left to freeze or starve or face the kid.
Ooh. Slow. And it tracks.
Well, windbags young and old keep fighting for the fort. At least the marshals left the kid a parting gift. Something the windbags just can't handle. Something that'll punch clean through their greasy hides.
That's...
Windbags ain't much different from normal folks. All they want's a warm place to stay and a decent meal. A lot of them wound up here in this very fort. Could have been minding the business underground like in the old days.
Why does it last so long?
Windbags can't use the marshal supplies, but the kid sure can. As for the windbags, Cinder Brick gave them enough heat and metal to munch on for a while. Well, the fort ain't theirs by right. Can't blame them for wanting it, though. Not a scratch on him as he presses on the higher ground. So many of those sorry things holed up inside that old fort. Kid's blasting everything in sight with that newfangled musket.
Hold on. Wait.
Security's plane gone haywire. Windbags gummed up the works. Kid ain't afraid to get burned. They trapped the kid in the middle of the fort's parade grounds.
Sure, saving us.
Then they bring out Glutus and Glandon and all their scumbag uncles. They got something to gain, and only their sorry hides to lose. Kid takes down Glutus, or maybe it was Glandon. The other big fella soon joins his brother, wherever they are now. The Windbags finally get the message.
Why is he doing this?
Kid used to dream of getting a marshal's badge, but not like this. And now ain't nothing left for nobody down at Cinderbrick Fort. Kid shows up just as Zulf's telling me about his own journey to the city. Seems the only thing the Calamity saved for Zulf was a smoking pipe. The marshals seem like good men, he says. They treated him with dignity. Zulf brought his antique smoking pipe all the way from the terminals.
Please don't.
Poor kid collapses after just one drag.
Okay.
The past. Only good thing ever come out of the
What happened?
past is history. The past catches up with the kid. Hardly had a moment's rest since all this started. Fair to say he's led a hard life, supposing what he says in his sleep ain't no lie. He never knew his old man, but he had his mama to take care of. Frail thing with pure white hair like his. Having his mama's hair did the kid no favors while he was growing up, but he learned to hold his own out there.
I can.
School ain't working out, so the kid signs up for a turn on the rippling walls. Make his mama some money. Thanks to folks like the kid, the walls kept Ceylondia safe from whatever's out there. The elements, the Ura, you name it. Once the kid done his time, he hurried on home. Turns out his mama's time was done too.
Why?
The city had nothing for him. The money he'd been sending home was nowhere to be found either. So what'd the kid do? Why, he went right on back to the walls for another 5 years. In the history of Ceylondia, nobody's ever volunteered for a second shift on the walls. Out there, kid learned to fend for himself. Learn to build. Learn to break. In time, the kid earned good standing with the marshals. They trusted him to scout out farther than anybody. One night, on one of his expeditions, the ground beneath him shuddered, cracked, and split apart.
Oh.
What was I saying? Anyway. You saw nothing where the world used to be. The calamity happened just like that. All the kid had to work with was his hammer
Making a
and the
lot of money,
clothes
though.
on his back. Through twisted streets, he ran with nothing but the city crest and an old stranger's voice to guide him. Wait, where was I?
I can sense, please.
Well, they finally arrived at Celandia's vaunted safe haven. He and no one else.
Always this little area.
But then,
Okay, got him.
all he got was more thankless work from a man who ain't even asked his name. Sure, I may be the one who dreamt up the walls and the Bastion, but the kid made them real, not me.
The bull. See.
I'd like to say I'll never forget him, or what he's doing, what he's done. I surely would.
One for the road.
Zolf's travels ain't much compared to what the kids had to go through for all this. Kid says hello, but Zolf's lost in thought. Behold, the Pantheon. Even since the Ura surrendered to us, the Marshals kept a wary eye on him. Kid's ready to get real personal with hammer and musket in hand. Cinder brick stout sure goes down smooth, then stays in your gut like a rock. That ought to make those fangs sink in nice and deep.
Actually.
The city's unwanted things all met their end in the yard. Folks who fouled up would do their time here, smashing things to bits. The quicker they worked, the sooner they could go. Folks learned to plant their feet and put their backs into it. Others would plot a course to navigate that sea of junk. The yard rewarded only those who put in an effort. A good day's smashing could feed a family for a week.
27 seconds.
Kid pays another visit to the scrapyard for old time's sake. Worked too slow and all you got was a sore back. Some folks invested their earnings to forge even better hammers. Always plenty there for smashing. The strongest, fastest folks earn more than their fair share. The kids worked the yard before, but that time he just plain destroyed it.
Not doing anything. Let me see.
Ain't never letting go of his old friend with a sturdy grip like that. The Langston River flowed free and wild till the calamity drank it all up. Maybe all that water just grew wings and flew off. Riverbanks swarming with windbags. They're so bent on finding the core, they hardly notice the kid. Lucky for him, a certain famous ferry barge is still afloat. Weepin' Nellie. She sends some squirts crying home as she leaves port. Maybe Nellie knows the way to the core. Maybe she can slip right past all the clamor on the coast. Or maybe not. A security skiff pulls up portside. Nellie's just another windbag to those guns. Just then, the windbags notice who she's sailing with. They're pretty steamed about what happened at Cinderbrick. They try to cut her off. They try to slow her down. They try to knock her out. Well, Weepin' Nelly tries harder. Try as she might, though, she hits a snag. Kid's gotta help her get untangled. Favors for favors. At least she picked a good spot for a break, 'cause the core's right there.
What?
Then the kid hears an unusual sound, like 100 flapping wings.
Oh!
Peckers. They've been watching his every move. They had their own eyes on the core. But why? He finds Weepin' Nelly raring to go. Turns out she's got a special surprise for when the waters get rough. She's gonna need a little help with all them peckers. Traffic things think they're king of the roost now. Rest of us only wish we could fly in times like these. Security skiffs keep on coming starboard side. Don't seem to care what they shoot, as long as they hit something. Kid almost
I'm gonna
falls
die.
again.
Ace, hello.
The windbag's getting even better idea. Kid boards one of them skiffs like some kind of Ceylonian privateer. They aim to smash Weepin' Nelly to splinters. Well, it all proves too much for poor Nelly.
Game. Okay.
She's just gotta make one last stop. With her last breath, Nelly gets the kid to solid ground. Solid ground in Pecker country. Seems the calamity ain't hurt the Peckers' appetites. They want that core real bad.
Bob, there's more.
Might be they want it just as bad as a kid.
Bro. Dead.
Kid shoos them off, knowing they'll be back. Know how many times Kid nearly fell off the barge back there? 4 times.
I hope I actually didn't fall 4 times.
Now, listen close. You should remember this next part. Why go to Prosper Bluff? Used to take an enterprising man or a plain old fool to venture out that far.
Fighting each other. Bro!
The city was the most beautiful place in the world. We all knew that. But on the other hand, some folks just yearn to see the things they're told they can't.
Scary.
And that's why you go to Prosper Bluff, ain't it?
I know? Hello?
The other kid hears something he ain't heard in a long while. How's it go again? Yeah, that's the one. Well, no point explaining what happens next, right? Suffice it to say, kid ain't coming home empty-handed. And besides, it's like the song goes.
I dig my hole, you build a wall. One day that wall is gonna fall.
They'll be here before too long. We darn near celebrated when the kid got back, didn't we? Zolf never thought he'd see a fellow or again. We become fast friends. Calamity has that effect on people. But there was more to be done. There was one last core to find. A scientific journal written in Zolf's native tongue. He learned so much from it. Too much. If only I'd known half the secrets of the Calamity were tucked away in that book, I'd have worked to translate it right away. Most of the Ura never got a taste of Ceylondia's fine goods, unless they were born and raised in the city like Zia here. Girl tried to run away from home one time, but the marshals stopped that, didn't they? So many secrets in there and she can't even read it. Her father's own journal. Kid's surprised when I tell him there's only one core left. I shouldn't have believed it either. The memorial. Here a kid can pay respect to the old world and earn it in kind.
Wait, no. Actually, how do I need so much money?
The valediction. Just another one of my sketches. Nothing more. Words can't express what happened, but they're all I got. We tracked the final core beyond the city to the wilds. That's the edge of the wilds, where Jawson and his boys disappeared. The wild unknown. Place can eat a man alive. Place is so raw, even the Calamity couldn't cook it. Not all of it. Know what's better than having a slinger pistol in a fight? Having two. Kid's faster than a slinger with those guns. Savage things lurking at every turn. Pincushions ain't the worst of it either. Pecker's got the core, like they're building a Bastion of their own. The welcoming committee scrambles to attention. Didn't expect the kid so soon. They shouldn't have let their guard down. Getting that core was one thing. Getting out's gonna be another. He digs his way out of the clearing, but the wilds won't let him go without a fight. Wallflowers survived the Calamity. It toughened him up. Same goes for the kid. best take it real slow when pincushions are afoot. A handful of windbag shipments made it out this far. Kid learns the hard way not to touch those things. Don't ever turn your back on a pincushion. Kid's roused up half the wilds by now. Then Kid gets the feeling he's being watched.
I am?
Not by me, by a lunkhead. And lunkheads ain't fond of two-legged animals. Hit him anywhere but the hindquarters and you only make him mad. The Calamity must have scrambled their eggs. Hardly any signs of the old Jawson camp. Wild green vine apples about the only good thing out here. Sees a smooth black stone coughed up by the Calamity. Be seeing plenty more. The wilds already reclaimed this place. He's anxious to get back. After all, he's got the final core. His journey's over, right? Well, no, it ain't. Not by a long shot. Kid knows something's up when we ain't there to give a warm welcome. See, Zolf and I were just wrapping up a heated discussion. Zolf can barely muster the words. The Calamity failed, he says, but I will not. And with that, Zolf leaves us here, alone. Zolf cursed the city, cursed the Bastion, cursed me, said he was going home. When Zolf got through reading that journal, he just snapped. Started smashing up the monument till I tried to stop him.
What does he know?
Zolf banged up the monument pretty bad. But there's a way to put her back together. The shards. We're gonna need all of them to nurse the Bastion back to health. Sometimes a single look says it all. Come on, give the little tyke a break.
What do you mean stop listening to?
Kid takes another drag, goes out like a light.
I'm not doing this again.
There's something you should know about the kid, but let me take it from the top. The city brought the shards to the wilds. Now the kid's gonna bring 'em back. Slinger Range is where the city's quickest pistoliers put themselves to the test. You have to think fast to survive the wilds, and none thought faster than the Slingers. They could shoot their pistols with the speed of a machine. They knew just when to start shooting and when to stop. Those pistols could spit out rounds just as quick as you could pull the trigger. Learning to hold your fire could be its... The Slingers could plug you full of holes faster than you
Why
could
did
say
it-
draw.
Okay, that was weird. It didn't let me fall earlier, but in that little area, it did.
The Slingers like to edge each other out using customized pistols. Eventually, it all comes down to reflexes. No matter how fast you are, you can always get faster.
$700. I don't know if I could do that.
Well, even the Slingers weren't quick enough to escape the calamity. Takes a lot of moving pieces to make a dependable sidearm. He's made a right comfortable bed for all those bullets. After Zolf's little episode, Kid sets off in search of shards. First stop, Jawson Bog. You'll get lost in that bog, I told the kid, and I won't be able to guide you back. Well, I let him go. What else could I do? What could any of us do? Zolf put us in a real bind. Hurt the Bastion bad.
I'm already lost.
But the shards can make it better. They're like smaller doses of the core's medicine. Shame the only place to fill that prescription is out here in the wilds. This place is intoxicating. Don't know where he's gone. Might be gone for
Bro,
good
my
for all
ears.
I know. Wherever he is, somewhere I've never been. Somewhere I never
Oh.
want to go. The dead welcome him with open arms. Kid pops some good. That a survivor? No, ma'am. It's a lonesome ghost of a gas fella. What do you say to a kid who's seen too much? I'm Zolf of Liura. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Now the kid sees something stranger still. Did anybody else survive?
Oh my gosh.
Sure enough,
Stop
he finds
whispering in my ear.
peckers, lunkheads,
What's this?
wallflowers, pincushions, pineapples, swamp weeds, ankle gaiters.
Oh! They were friends a minute ago.
Kid can't fall, no matter how hard he tries. Now the Bastion can send him even farther into the wild unknown.
Okay, we're cool.
Kid sets foot inside one of Ceylondia's famous watering holes. He has the nerve to flash the shield he stole. The
Why is this
security's just gonna have to straighten him out. Kid succeeds where the calamity failed.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry.
Would you look at what he did to poor old Ronde the bartender?
Bro, they made.
Proper story's supposed to start at the beginning. It's so simple with this one. Now here's a kid whose whole world's alright, snoozing there on a rock in the sky. He wakes up. I'm just fooling. He sees what's left of the rippling walls. Years of work undone in an instant. He sees what's left of Pith, the bull. The gods, they're all undone. He sees what's left of his lifelong friend.
That's me.
his friend, he's come undone too. He sees what's left undone. Thought we'd lost him, but he finally comes to. The shard ain't lost either. Not anymore. Now to find a ticket out of this hole.
What the? Bro, it's like
Disgusting
things
things.
in Mario.
Ever heard of a lung blossom?
Uh,
It's bigger than the stories say. Hard to get a sure footing in the bog. Bootlickers dig their nasty thorns into his heels. The breath on that thing, like a scumbag sprung a leak.
you die.
They say one whiff of lung blossom can make you lose your mind.
Where am I? Bro!
Well, the kid prunes it down to size somehow. Mother only knows what happened in the bog. Kid never much cared to speak of it. A shard is like a poor man's core, but beggars can't be choosers. That's it. Few more shards like that, and we'll be back in business. A single shard can breathe new life into this place. Fetching fizz is like a mouthful of nails, but the benefits are worth it. A pair of slinger pistols is just the ticket if a hammer's too slow.
This. Oh, yeah, that's the first one.
The shards got enough juice to spruce up any of these places. Ain't saying much, but that's the greatest forge in all the city. The city tried to use the shards to stake out the wilds. So much for that plan. That's the Bullhead Court. Folks defended themselves there with shields, not words. The accused always got a fair shake in Ceylondia. Some used to take the Bullhead trial. Survive the trial without taking a scratch, you'd walk away a free man. Court is back in session for the kid. Old ritual for when folks believed there was this godlike bull watching over them. Had to make do with nothing but a shield.
How did it? Bro. Okay. I don't know how I'm
The smarter ones
Okay.
knew when to just step aside and let things go.
Bro. You almost pushed me off.
The kid pulls through in fine form. Well, the kid always wanted to compete in the bullhead trial. That ought to give those dueling pistols a little extra kick. Ankle gators used to roam the wilds, and they nested at
What?
Ruthless Lagoon. Many a tale folks used to scare their children straight originated here. All kinds of beasts what don't know up from down, still lurking about.
Okay.
Even the brushers learned to fear this place. Can't get hasty in a place like this.
Hope you're doing well too, man. I'm falling, as you can see.
These beasts, they don't like company. They used to think that ankle gators were extinct.
Oh!
Well, they ain't. One of them's been living in the tall grass. They called her Queen Anne. Turns out Queen Anne got a hold of a shard. Ankle gators love shiny things. The lagoon's got plenty of other dangers, of course. Know what smells worse than an ankle gator's breath? The stinkweed. Can't fight Queen Anne without the proper tools. Ain't time for pecker hunting, but the kid can't resist. Brushers use their pikes to keep their distance around here. Now the kid can do the same. They say you can't hurt an ankle gator unless it's raining, and it ain't raining. Sharp sticks make Queen Anne nervous, so she backs off a bit. Most of those peckers are smart enough to stay out of Queen Anne's way.
My voice sounds low. I gotta turn myself up. Hold on. Actually, maybe I'll just turn the game down. Okay, Steve. This is actually pretty That's not supposed to happen. Ooh! I got it.
Those pin cushions been living off the ankle gator scraps. Queen Anne can't fit down some of these narrow paths.
That might. Hold on. Oh, no worries.
Queenie leads the kid into some kind of twisted trap. One bad step in that tall grass and he's Queen Anne's lunch. He holds his ground. Seems the Queen's running out of options. Still no sign of the shard.
It's extra low? No. No. Maybe that should be better. If not, I don't know. I'm sorry. Change.
The closer you get to an ankle gator's lair, the thicker the tall grass grows. Kid's gotta make a run for it. That old gator's right on his tail. Queen's got one mean bite. That's ankle gator country for you. Queenie must have scared a bunch of peckers out of hiding. Seems even stinkweeds know to stay away from the Queen.
Get me out of here.
Ankle gators don't much care for their young. That's why there ain't many around. Wanna know how to find an ankle gator lair? You use a kid as bait. Now she's coming for him. She's got nowhere else to go. The shard's sitting in plain view. They say if you run across an ankle gator, you better keep running. She's starting to get annoyed. And now he's made her mad. Rest in peace, Queen Anne. That was for the brushers.
Oh, this spear is powerful. Bro, Hades is later. I still need to beat the or beat Hades. I got so close.
Kid's done what needed to be done.
It's gonna be over.
Queen Anne's reign is over. We even got a crown jewel.
Mailbox.
That gator's a crazy gal, but so is the gal who promised to look after her.
Why do we have one here? Oh!
Still no mail. Go figure. They said Queen Anne was just a folktale. Now there's living proof she ain't. All that trouble for a single shard. But you know what? It was worth it. Just the occasion to crack open the distillery's private reserve.
No.
Fallen malt is filled with crunchy minerals that'll keep you safe out on them rocks.
Once you get a PC though, you'll be in there. Oh no.
He's a spitting image of Slinger Jawson with that pike and them pistols. To fix a brusher's pike, you just need a good length of knife bark. Now he can shoot that fang repeater all day long. The next shard should be farther out there in the wilds.
Hopefully you reach the goal soon then.
To prepare for the wilds, Ceylondia's brushers practice at Camp Dunse. Had to navigate a maze of pincushions with nothing but a pike. It's a dangerous test for a dangerous job.
I don't know how I hit that one.
Health tonics were off limits at Camp Dunse. They said they made you weak.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize. I can't even roll.
The rules said he couldn't use any fancy footwork, just your brains and your pike.
It's okay.
Just getting through the course in one piece was an accomplishment.
Under 90 seconds?
The brushers were Ceylondia's field agents, and their training was harsh.
Actually,
You had to find a path through the maze as quick as you could. One well-placed throw could take out several of those ugly critters.
Oh, I forgot I could... catch things. Try one more time. One more time.
To prep for the course, the brushers could modify their pikes however they wanted.
I did.
There wasn't time to squash every pincushion, just the ones in the way.
Man, did way worse.
You can see why the brushers prize those pikes of theirs.
Actually, let me see.
Point Lemaine's Grand Rail once brought the riches of the wild right to our doorstep. Know how Caelandia became the richest city in the world? 2 words. Point Lemaine. If the wild could ever be tamed, it was gonna happen right here. But now, the greatest outpost past the city line is nothing but a freak show. The army's triggers once had the place on lockdown.
Ooh.
Kid might as well pick up where they left off. Blam! Just like my fighting days. Gun like that can even put the wilds in check. Point Lemaine seen better days for sure, but it ain't done. Whole place shudders in a fit. The Grand Rail of Point Lemaine, not only is it still there, it still works. Of course, it's no longer shipping hides and alloys and spices,
Of course.
but it can give the kid a lift. Just as long as he can stay clear of the trouble on the tracks. grand rail's all grown over with things the Calamity chewed up and spat out. Things eager to take back their turf. Kid lets a few of them slip by. Lunkheads settled in like they own the place. Takes fancy footwork on the rail, what with wallflowers coughing fungus everywhere.
I'm gonna risk it.
Not much wiggle room up there near the rail. Place used to be closed off, but now it's split open like a rotten pineapple. Of course, the Grand Rail's seen much more fighting in bygone times.
Alright, switch this.
Near on 50 years ago, first shots fired in the Ura-Selandian War. It was right here that Zolf's Ura forefathers decided to mix it up. Okay, so maybe we didn't get their sign-off on the whole Grand Rail thing. That was bad. The rail must have shook the Ura to the bone down in those dens of theirs. Well, the rail won't last much longer now that the kid took the shard. It's still got one good run in store for him, though. All the rotten wood there on the rails turned it into Swamp Weed Central. Ever tried dancing side to side while holding your breath? While choking on swamp weed? While peckers trying to prick you in the eye? Well, let me tell you, it ain't fun. But then, at last, it's the end of the line. He'll be picking swamp weed out of those boots for days. Turns out he's got company up at the rail station, waiting for him.
Bro.
Not just another wallflower or pincushion, mind you. At first, he thinks it's Zolf. Turns out he's wrong. This is for you, says the man. Then wham.
Huh?
When the kid comes to, the man's long gone.
Why?
But something else is there. The only words kid recognizes on that parchment are for Zia. Well, what's a kid to do? He took the shard, he took the hit, and he took that note.
Why would he hit me?
That note cuts straight to the heart of things, don't it? Finding gourmet ingredients ain't easy these days, but we'll take what we can get. The note says it plain. Zia, go east to learn the truth about the calamity and our people. I'll be waiting. Sincerely, Zulf. He ain't all that shy. Zulf's messenger was one of his people. Wondered just how many of them survived, and what exactly Zulf told him. It ain't too late to unlock the potential of this place. The arsenal's complete, in case we need protection. The trappers, daring bunch of fools. They'll be missed. Kid arrives just in time to sample Zia's famous cooking. He wolfs down too much too fast,
What?
and it all goes to his head. I've said a lot about the kid, but he ain't the only one wrapped up in all this.
Bro, what did that food do to me?
What's he thinking? Well, let me see if I got this straight. I only heard it once. Once there was a normal Ura girl, but she wasn't born in the Tassel terminals like the rest of her people. She was from Celandia. Her folks were orphaned in the war, taken in and raised inside the city, on condition they would never return to the terminals. Refugees who came into the city had to stay for life. It was a way to reduce the risk of city secrets leaking out. Mama passed away from birthing complications, leaving the girl trapped inside that city with no one but her father.
2.
Father was sharper than a brusher's pike, so he got a job working for the city's mancers. His daughter barely saw him. Her father told her nothing of her Ura heritage. He told her nothing of the Mansers. It's for your own good, he said. She took to studying the arts, learned more through music than history books, gained a knack for strings and songs.
These birds.
At first, she tried to be like other girls, but her classmates spread word that her father was an Ura trader, selling out the city.
No, I can't.
Well, you know how it goes. One young man stood up for her, or so he led her to believe. He knew much of her heritage, and she grew fond of him.
Okay. Here we go. I can't stun it.
The young man convinced her to take him to her family den to meet her father. Spoke of how he wanted to meet a man from the terminals. the young man greeted her father in the Ura's native language, her father flew into a fit of rage and threw them out. What's the use? The young man never told her that the Ura's native language is not to be used by foreigners. To do so is a terrible insult. It was then that she decided to escape. The two of them could flee the city together and go to the Tassel terminals.
You're giving me this, I need HP.
One day that wall is gonna fall. Gonna build that city on a hill. Gonna build that city.
They would hide inside a garbage bin until it got ingested by a scumbag, then let him slosh on out of the city for disposal.
Those tears are
Oh
gonna
my,
spill.
two. Kind of small though.
So build that wall and build it strong, 'cause we'll be there for two. Come build up to the sky.
Well, I digress.
I'm going back. Think might be it though. It's a good run. It is very early. Might be time for some sleep. Let's see. Hold on. Good. Thanks for the stream. No worries. TyQuest asked me to play this game, and I've been holding off playing it, to be honest. I'm glad I finally got to start it because it's actually pretty fun. Yeah, he suggested me playing this, so it's actually not that bad. Where's okay? Now how do I do this? I'm down to play some Battle Block. I'm down to finish it because we were pretty close actually. But thank you for all for viewing. Just chilling here. This early morning, late night stream, but Daddy's been suffering. He really has. All right.